Welcome to a conversation opportunity about our better hope in Jesus as the Christ from Open Heaven Ministries.
The unity that God desires for us to have is not based upon a worldly unity. It's built upon the foundation of Christ. Everything that we believe, and the verse was quoted yesterday from and mentioned by one of y'all in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, must be built correctly on the foundation of Christ, or it's wood, hay, or stubble, or gold. If it is correctly built, it's gold, silver, and precious stone. But our problem is we have knowledge gaps and misconceptions, things that come into our life, things we've been taught that are incorrect, philosophies of the world. And one of the things the author of the Hebrews is trying to get us to do, and I don't know if you've ever experienced one of these. How many of you know what that is? You ever played with one? It's a megaphone. It's a way to make a phone, and you can talk across the room. You take a tin can, and you take a string. You could do this at home over the weekend with your children, if you have children, or with somebody else. But you make a little hole in the end, and you put that string in and tie a knot, and you can make the string go all the way across the room, and you put another hole in the bottom of the tin can, and when you pull it tight, you can whisper into the end of the can, and then the vibrations of your voice will go through the string, and then a person on another can on the other side can hear what the other person is saying. It's a common toy that our kids play with in the United States, or used to. Now it's all computer games. They want to do video and all of that. But back in the day when you really played, this would be something that you would then show your kids how to make. And what I say about this chart is our problem in hearing God's speech about what Christ has done for us is all the philosophical noise that's not even mentioned in the Bible that we apply back to the text. We come up with words and concepts and philosophies of, well, I'm this kind of Christian and I'm that kind of Christian. Well, I'm a certain kind of theology. Well, no, I'm a certain kind of theology. And, we pick one and we say, well, that's what we are. We go, Dr. XYZ says, this doctor says this, and this doctor says that, and this means to me. And, the apostles, they succeeded each other, and what they say is the right thing. The traditions that come, or the churches, they've succeeded each other. They're the ones that tell us. And then there's the Babylon doctrine that the Bible says is in the world and growing. And so you have all these influences to where how in the world do we determine what is the true foundation of Christ? What did he really do? What is it that God promised? And what was it that God really accomplished in the Messiah that he says we can stand on, and that we can discern good and evil in everything that we're looking at in trying to follow God? How do we hear what God's speech says? That's what we're going to get into today in the book of Hebrews. We're going to again listen. We're going to listen to God's speech to consider more of what he is saying and try to avoid all these other people hollering stuff in our ears that we've heard over the years. I don't want to erase all that because some of that's pretty important and in the right place. But we need to focus. We need to focus in and not drift away, as he is telling his audience in chapter 2 and verse 1, and consider so great salvation so that we don't come into judgment for God. How we're going to be judged by God, the big question he's going to ask you is, what did you say about me? What was your conversation about me? How did you witness about me? What was your testimony about me? What was your life like about me and my accomplishment for salvation as my fellow worker, as my partner with a heavenly calling that I gave you once you were saved? How did that work out? What did you say? What did you teach? What did you proclaim in the life that you live? That is going to be the test that we face when we go into judgment.